Anybody love the Lord on this morning?
Yes.
Did the Lord hear anybody's cry
Yes,
on this
morning? Yes, Lord.
So, Father God, we come to you. First of all, giving you praise, God, giving you honor, giving you glory, God.
Yes.
For gracing us, God, for touching us and allowing us to see yet another day.
Yes, Lord.
Father God, we thank you right now even more that we were able to press our way into your house of worship, God.
Yes, Lord.
To bless your name, God.
Yes.
To give you the honor, God. To give you the glory. For we recognize, oh God, that you're bigger than any virus, any disease, any sickness, any illness, God. You are bigger than anything, God, that may be at hand right now, God, in the name of Jesus.
Yes.
So we come on this day, God, and we ask that you would move mightily in this place right now, God.
Yes.
God, I ask that you would allow me to decrease, God, and you increase, God.
Yes.
Fill me up, God, until all they see is you, oh God.
Yes,
Right now, God, in the
Lord.
name
Yes,
of
Lord.
Jesus.
Yes, Lord.
God, let your word fall, God, on fertile ground right now, God, in the name of Jesus, that it may take root, God.
Yes.
In the name of Jesus, we forever give you the praise. We give you the honor. We give you the glory.
Yes.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Lord.
We're going to look at
Thank you.
John, the 11th chapter.
Yes, Lord.
And I'm going to begin at the first verse, and I'm going to read quite a bit, but it is necessary. In John 11, beginning at the first verse, reads, Now a certain man was ill,
Yes.
Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. It was Mary who anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was ill. So the sisters said to him, saying, Lord, he whom you love is ill. But when Jesus heard this, he said, This illness does not lead to death. It is for the glory of God,
Yes.
so that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus.
Yes. Yes.
So when he heard that Lazarus was ill, he stayed 2 days longer in the place where he was. Then after this he said to the disciples, Let us go to Judea again.
Yes.
The disciples said to him, Rabbi, the Jews were just now seeking to stone you,
Yes.
and you are going there again. Jesus answered, Are there not 12 hours in the day?
Yes.
If anyone walks in the day, he does not stumble because he sees the light of his world.
Yes.
But if anyone walks in the night, he stumbles because the light is not in him.
Amen.
After saying these things, he said to them, Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I go to awaken him.
Yes.
The disciples said to him, Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he will recover.
Yes.
Now Jesus had spoken of his death, but they thought he meant taking rest and sleep. Then Jesus told them plainly, Lazarus has died, and for your sake I am glad that I was not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him. So Thomas, called the twin, said to the fellow disciples, Let us go, that we may die with him. Now when Jesus came, he found that Lazarus had already been dead in the tomb 4 days. Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 2 miles off, and many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them concerning their brother. So when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and met him. But Mary remained seated in the house. Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have been dead. But even now I know whatever you ask from God, God will give you. Jesus said to her, Your brother will rise again. Martha said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? She said to him, Yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who is coming into the world.
Yes, he is.
When she had said this, she went and called her sister Mary, saying in private, The teacher is here and is calling for you. And when she heard it, she rose quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was still in the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary rise quickly and go out, they followed her, supposing that she was going to the tomb to weep there. Now, when Mary came to where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet, saying, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews had come with her, also weeping, he was deeply moved, and his spirit greatly troubled. And he said, where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. And Jesus wept. So the Jews said, see how he loved him. But some of them said, could not he who opened the eyes of a blind man also have kept this man from dying? Then Jesus, deeply moved again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay against it. Jesus said, take away the stone. Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, Lord, by this time there will be an odor, for he has been dead for 4 days. Jesus said to her, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? Amen. So they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. Thank you. I knew that you always hear me. But I said this on account of the people standing around, that they may believe that you sent me. When he said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The man who had died came out, and his hands and feet bound with linen strips, and his face wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, unbind him and let him go. I want to speak with you briefly on the subject, the funeral is canceled. Amen. Amen. The funeral is canceled.
Yes,
right now.
Jesus loved Mary, he loved Martha, and he really loved Lazarus.
Yes.
When Jesus heard that Lazarus was ill, many theologians say that he was about 25 miles from where Lazarus actually was. He was on the east of the Jordan, which is where it places him. And the reasoning for him being east of the Jordan, he was near John, because John at that time was baptizing people.
Yes, yes.
When Jesus received word, he didn't move.
Come on.
And many people wonder why God didn't move. But back in the day, there was a Jewish law that when someone passed, the spirit hovered over that person for a period of 3 days.
Yes.
And God could not go prior to those 3 days, because God said, I did not come to break the law, but I came to fulfill it.
Amen. Amen.
So in order for God to be able to do what he did, he had to remain in place for those 3 days.
Amen.
So the next day, Jesus begins his journey, and he heads over to see about Lazarus.
All right.
And on his way, Martha meets him and says, Jesus, my brother is dead.
Yeah, yeah.
And had you been there, God, he wouldn't have been in this state.
All right.
Jesus heads to Lazarus. But before he does, he says to Martha, your brother will awaken.
Yeah.
Martha says to Jesus, she said, Lord, I know that he's going to come. He's going to wake again. I know that he's going to resurrect on resurrection. But what Martha failed to realize is that the resurrection is not an event.
Yeah.
The resurrection is a person. And that person is Jesus.
Amen.
Jesus told Martha, I am the resurrection.
Yeah.
I am the truth, and I am the life. And though he were dead, he shall live again.
Yeah.
Amen.
So Jesus presses his way towards Bethany. And when he gets there, Lazarus has now been dead for 4 days. He had been dead for 4 days. And we know that after a few days, the body has an odor. So Mary then too comes to Jesus, and she says, Jesus, had you been here, my brother would not be dead right now. But what they failed to realize is God is omnipresent. So he was not there physically, but God was still there in the midst, even during the time of God's death. So what are you saying to me on today? It may look dead. It may even be stinking, but God is calling it out. He's calling you to awaken.
Yeah.
Your funeral is canceled.
Yeah, yeah, come on.
God had them remove the stone.
Yeah.
And he spoke these words to Lazarus. He said to Lazarus, come forth.
Come forward.
First of all, for you to fully understand the tradition, once somebody passed, they had professional mourners that came, and they were to be loud and make noise and cry out. So this is what we know today as a funeral.
Yes.
But the word funeral means final. That's why Christians don't have funerals. We have homegoings.
Yes.
Because our funeral is not final.
Amen.
Because we go to be with the resurrection.
Amen.
And we know that he is going to what? Catch us up.
Yes. Yes.
He uttered the words to Lazarus, come forth. The word come means to move or travel toward or into a place thought of as near.
Yes.
Or a familiar to the speaker. And the word forth means out from a starting point and forward into view.
Amen.
So he said, Lazarus, move out and come into life. He called Lazarus out of death into life. But when Lazarus came out, he still had on his grave clothes.
Yes.
The word declares that he was bound by his hands and by his feet,
yes.
his legs. Yes. Everything was bound. Yes. And God ordered them, he commanded, he said, remove those grave clothes from him and allow him to be free. Yes. Many of us on today, God has called us out of death, but we're still wrapped up in those things that allow us to be dead. Right, but God is calling us to move forward into view. You have to let go of the things of old and you have to move forward. How many Lazarus in here is God calling? God is calling you to come out. All of the evidence pointed to death.
Yes.
Everything that they saw said that it was dead.
Yes.
Everything that you see, well, whatever you're going through, whatever that situation is, you have all proof that that's a dead situation. Yes. You have all the proof that it's done and over, nothing else can be done. But how many of you know that the proof is not what you see? Yes. The proof is in what you cannot see. Yes. For faith is the substance of what things hope for, the evidence of things unseen. So that proof that you see, that lifeless situation, that evidence that you see is not for you. The evidence is to make the enemy look like a fool, so that you know that when God pulls you out, when he calls you out, you know that it was nobody but the Lord. So we have to take off those grave clothes. We got to come out into a new thing. God is calling us out, and he's calling us out of our spiritual casket, and he is saying to us that your funeral is canceled if you allow me to call out. If you'll take heed to my voice, your funeral is canceled. The proof. Yeah. It's for your own lookers. Yeah. It's for the ones that counted you out. Yeah. They didn't recognize who you were and whose you are. So they walked around your body. You know, like your grandma used to say, I'm hungry as a buzzard on a backyard fence. What do buzzards like? They like dead. So they circle your body. Yeah. They circle like, yeah, she out. Yeah, he out. Yeah, that's dead. He ain't gonna bounce back from that. Yeah. But they didn't know because they didn't see Jesus. They just saw what you were going through. They just saw the proof. Preach it. But Jesus is saying, come. Preach. Move. Travel. That's what come means. It means to move. Yeah. It means to travel. Jesus is saying to you, come out. Come out. Yes, come out. Yes, sir. Come out. Yes. We pray and we ask God to take things away from us. We ask God for life and situations. But when the truth of the matter is, we hold on to dead weight. Yes. That marriage been over. You've been out of it. Let it go. That friendship been over. Yes. It's over with.
Come on
Let
now.
it go.
Come on now. Come on now.
Come out. Yes. And then he said, though he were dead. So that situation that looked like this, though it were dead, it shall live. It shall be resurrected. We have to recognize that the resurrection is not an event. We don't have anything to wait on because the resurrection is Jesus. The resurrection is already here. And I got news for you. The resurrection not even only here, but the resurrection is in us because in him we live, we move, and we have our being. Right, so now. Guess what? We have authority. Yes. We have authority to raise things in our life. We have authority to call out things. Not thy will, but thy will be done. We have that authority. God gave us resurrection power when he died on the cross. Yeah. We have the right to speak life into any situation that we have.
Come on now. Come on now.
Yes, Lord. Amen.
The funeral is canceled.
Yeah.
God want to take your spiritual casket. You lay in distraught. You lay in despair. You lay in anxiety. You having a pity party. God say, take it off. Take it off.
Yeah.
And come out and live.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Your pity party, your distress, your desperation, your worry, your anxiety does not change your situation.
Yeah.
But when you speak to that thing and you come out,
Yeah.
you have authority.
Yeah.
God has things that he want to resurrect in your life.
Yes, he does.
But you got to let some things go.
Yes, Lord.
You got to come out. You got to recognize that you can't look back.
Right now.
But you got to move forward.
Yes. Yes.
You are living in the now.
Yes.
We can't live in the past. We can't worry about what happened, what I coulda, shoulda, woulda. If it happened yesterday, we can't change it.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
It is finished.
Amen.
God is calling us to come up and come out.
Yes.
And move forward in
Yes.
his
Come
word.
on now.
Move forward in whatever it is that is happening.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. Preach it.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Amen.
When we call out things, thy kingdom come as it will in heaven. Ain't no counsel in heaven.
Yeah.
We got to call it to come out.
Yes, Lord.
Ain't no corona in heaven.
Yeah.
Come out.
Come on now. Come on.
Your funeral is canceled.
Yes.
All we have to do, what did he say to Martha? Do you believe? Do you believe that I am the Son of God?
Yeah.
He told her, you panicking and you telling me. She went to Jesus, and I imagine she was very angry, so she didn't say it softly. Jesus, my brother would have still been alive had you been here. Jesus said, hey, hold your horses. He's going to live. She said, I know when the resurrection comes that he's going to live. She still hadn't gotten it. She was with the resurrection. He was the resurrection.
Yeah.
That's it.
We waiting on an event when we have full access to the resurrection on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like that.
Not only do we have access, but he's within us.
Yes, Lord.
Let's go.
All we got to do is just let go of the weights. Let go of the strongholds. Let go of the things that bind us and keep us from coming out.
Yes.
That's all that we have to do. We give the devil a lot of credit. People always say the devil busy. You busy too.
Yeah.
We give him way too much credit. Half of the stuff we give credit to the devil for don't even be the devil. It be us.
Yeah. Amen.
We inflict our own pain.
Yes.
We cause our own misery, our own strife.
Come on.
Then we want to post the devil busy.
Yeah.
No, you busy.
Yeah.
Come on
It's
now.
not the devil.
Yeah.
Come on now.
We got to come out.
Yes.
We got to come out of our negative thoughts.
Yeah.
We got to come out of negative habits. We got to come out of negative relationships. We got to come out of speaking negative and thinking
All right
negative
now.
and acting negative.
Come on
We
now.
have to come out
That's right.
and stop giving credit to the enemy. Your funeral is canceled.
All right
Yeah.
now. Come on now.
And all we have to do is believe in the resurrection.
Yes.
All right now. Come on.
Recognize that the resurrection is not an event.
Yeah.
The resurrection is a person.
Yeah.
The resurrection is Jesus Christ.
Yes, it is.
And when we believe those things and we recognize that the resurrection is not an event, guess what? We can call things out just like Jesus did.
Amen. Amen.
Just like he called
Yes.
Lazarus out of the grave.
Yes, Lord.
I know it's stinking. You're in a stinking situation. It's a dead situation. But you have power through him, the resurrection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on now.
Though it were dead,
Mm.
yet shall it live.
Come on now.
The funeral is canceled.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.